What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. Want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. Right now we're sitting at $31,721. We're down about 10.71%. What I want to do is look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. This is where I've been trading Bitcoin off of the 4-hour time frame. I wanted to share a few things with you because if we don't end up holding this area I'm going to talk about today, we could still probably dump another $5,000, $7,000. So it's something you need to be aware of, and I'm going to point that out to you today. So if you get some from these videos, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. This is where you have to practice that patience in these areas right now. You can see that we've been breaking down through this pennant right here. So we were having lower highs and we were having higher lows until we actually just broke it. And you can see that was a candle close on the 4-hour time frame down below this trend line. And that was an important trend line. Now, the area I wanted to talk to you the most about right here is the 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. And that's going to be in white. So you can see we have traded up above that since October 8th, all the way since October 8th, 2020. We have not lost this white moving average. You can see we've come back a couple times and tested it, but we always got to bounce off it. And that's where we're sitting right now, is on this 200 moving average. So today, on the 4-hour time frame, you need to be watching this area, because if we start having candle closes down below that, that could send us down to this area around about $28,000 we'd look at, and then below that we'd be looking down around that $26,000 to $25,000 if we do not hold this 200 EMA on the 4-hour as support. You can see we had a little bit of buying pressure down there. We've had a little bit of a wick, but we have not closed this candle yet. So we need to be aware that this candle is actually going to be closing here probably in about the next half hour or so, and we need to be up above this 200. Okay, so be very cautious of this. And also you can see on the 4-hour now, our 14, our 20, our 50 moving average, as well as our 100 is acting as overhead resistance. So what Bitcoin will have to do is get back up within this trend line here. And sometimes you can get that where you have this bounce down and then you come back up and you test this trend line. And then sometimes you can even fall farther, or you can get back up in that area. So that's why this is such an important area for us here. And I would probably put an alarm or alert. We'll put one in at $30,567. So we're going to add an alert there. If we start dropping below that, most likely we're going to get pushed to the downside even farther. You can see that selling off came on pretty big pressure as well. So if we get a little reaction bounce here on light volume, most likely we're going to get slammed to the downside again. What I'd like to know is, have you guys been buying in these areas with us being down 10%? You know, were you taking profits up in this area? Basically what I've been doing was trading. I was protecting myself. I got stopped out of a few different positions, and some I'm just going to continue to let ride. But I was trying to be cautious yesterday and put those stop losses in, just due to the fact we were getting so volatile and we potentially could have that downside break. Remember, guys, you know, risk to reward ratios, your risk management, that's the #1 thing in this space, because after you make those amazing gains, you don't want to give them all back and have to wait a month or two before we get moving back to the upside again. Not saying it's going to take that long, but sometimes it can take a while until we get moving again. And a great example was Link. When we hit that all-time high, we got up to about $20. It took about 3 months, I believe, 3 or 4 months until we got moving to the upside again, and we had that time to retrace, cool down, and then we got moving again. And that's why I like trading, because I don't want to sit in those positions while we're in that short to intermediate term downtrend. So this is an area that we really need to watch right now. If we get out to the 1-day time frame, take a look here. So I'd love your opinion down low on what you all have been doing as well. Are you going to accumulate more, like you can see off this 50 moving average on the 1-day time frame? That's going to be an important area for us to hold. We have been trading up above that since that October 8th as well in pink. So this would be an area we'd look to see if we can find any support. That'd be in this on the 1-day time frame at about $29,415. If we drop lower than that, we'd correlate with this 100 EMA here, also with some support, and that would put us right down around that $24,000 range. So we need to be careful in these areas. Now, we have retraced a decent amount here. I mean, this has been a pretty big plunge here for Bitcoin, down almost 11%. You can see our stock right now is at 0 and 1.28. So it's in that oversold territory, and that's a good thing for us. That's what we want to see if we're going to make that next climb up and try to get over 42,000, eventually to 50,000 in the longer term. So what I'd say is, short term, I'm more bearish. Intermediate term, it's a little bit of a mixed bag there, back and forth. And then longer term, I'm still very bullish for Bitcoin and the altcoins. It's kind of what I'm feeling right now, at least. So if we get into the relative strength on the 1-day time frame, take a look at this. Let's see here, guys. I might have too many. Yeah, just give me 1 second here. Let's get rid of that, because I want to show you the relative strength. So the RSI right now is at 45. So we really have cooled down here. You know, we could get a nice bounce off that 50 if we can defend it. We can see some strong buying pressure come in that area. That would be a significant spot for us. And if we go back, because I want to look at our old bull market and take a look how many times we actually went back to that 50. We'll take a look at this. So when we were having our retracements last time, you can see these retracements are pretty hefty, guys. I mean, this one here, we went from around $3,000 all the way down to $1,755. We actually went down through the 50. We were down through the 100 and actually found a little bit of support here off the 200. Up here, we went down into the 100. Here, we went to the 50. So these are all things that you want to pay attention to. We can definitely go down to that 50, that 100, even sometimes in the 200 here before we get that next bounce. Now, hopefully we don't have to go as low as the 200 for Bitcoin, because the 200 moving average would put us roughly back around $19,000. You know, guys, I guess some people would most likely be looking at $20,000 if we had just a violent sell-off. And the reason for that was when we broke out through it, many times you'll back test that area, kind of what Link's doing right now, before you get moving again. Here, we just broke out and kept going. We haven't had that true back test. You don't have to have that. It's not something that happens all the time, but many times that will happen. We haven't seen it yet. So if we went down to that area, it'd be so important for us to hold that $20,000. If we're not able to hold that $20,000 right in that range, then that's when things could get very ugly for us. But still, right now, this is Bitcoin. This is how it retraces, and these are the trading opportunities that we look for when we see things like this. If we get into the technicals for Bitcoin, you can see we're starting to slow down a good amount here. On the 1-day time frame, we're looking at an 11 sell, 10 neutral, and a 7 buy. Oscillators, 1 sell, 9 neutral, and a 1 buy. So just being very patient. This is the time, you know, if you're trading or whatnot, guys, really look for those good support and resistance areas. Many times you'll find those bounces off the support area. You'll see the resistance areas, and there'll be a lot of selling pressure. And what I like to do is look at the level 2, the volume book, and the buying pressure that's coming in on whatever exchange that I'm trading on as well. But it's important for us to hold this 50 moving average today here. You can see we have our alarm at $30,567. So just keep this in mind, guys. Be very careful. Bitcoin needed to cool down. It is what it is, but we need to stay up above these critical moving averages, in my opinion. So let me know what you're doing down low, guys. I love your opinions. God bless each and every one of you. Take care, my friends.